That's fair to say I would prefer to. Normally, with as many reps as you get in this camp, guys have had a chance to take what they learned in spring ball, work through it in the summer, clean up the things they need to clean up. I think you get a lot more accurate snapshot of where these guys are really at as camp unfolds. And so I would prefer to because then you're able to get it out of the way. You're able to start to focus your reps in on a starter, and the team knows, everybody knows, and you can move on. But I haven't always done it that way. My first year at East Carolina, we didn't name one until the first game. So I'm not super experienced, but I'm experienced enough to know I'm darn sure I'm not nailing it down right now. So we'll see how it unfolds.
If you're gonna cuss, go for the gold, Lincoln. Okay, all right, go for the gold. All right, let us hit the bleep button. Makes it way more emphatic. But his point is understood, right? He wants to go through camp to some degree before he names a starting quarterback. And I thought more of this was about not Jalen Hurts, but Spencer Rattler, Tanner Mordecai, Tanner Schafer, all getting a fair shake at the job. And if you're going to win the job and your name is Spencer Rattler, now is the time to do it. Because this is going to be your best opportunity, your best shot. I also think that it's Jalen Hurts' to lose because it's kind of like Bane versus Batman in that Jalen Hurts is Bane in this analogy. The dude comes from Bama, which is the dark, where they don't have anything to say that is interesting. They just win. And Spencer Rattler's coming into this as a guy who's adopting the dark. He hasn't played at this level before. He doesn't understand just yet what it means to be the guy at a major college football program. I also believe that if you're Jalen Hurts, you're going, maybe Spencer Rattler's more talented than me. I don't think it's maybe. I think it's true. But that guy has done the most to win the team. He's had more opportunities to win the team. And it's not just about being the best positional player and providing the most positional value. It's about a guy that can lead your team on and off the field. And this is where it gets really interesting because you more or less have the same kind of conversation going on in Oklahoma State where you have an older guy who probably does a better job of leading your guys on and off the field just because he's got that much more experience, and you got a younger guy who is much more talented. And I think in both of those, you got different things you're arguing about. Riley's way more laid back about his quarterback competition because I think he knows deep down there ain't no competition. It's just Jalen Hurts. And then you're talking about who's going to be second, Tanner Mordecai or Spencer Rattler. Whereas at Oklahoma State, you got a bit more of a problem. But sticking with OU for just a second here, Patrick, how would you shake this out? Who's your 1, who's your 2, who's your 3 on the depth chart?
I think it's the pretty obvious one. You go Hurts. Mordecai gets the call at 2 because he's experienced. And you want Rattler to be redshirted, although maybe you get him in 4 games. It's what we talk about all the time. Jalen Hurts didn't transfer here not to be the starter. And I think, quite frankly, he's probably a better quarterback than Tanner Mordecai is right now. Gives you a better chance to win. But that would be the breakdown. And I would think, look, maybe he doesn't announce it. This is something I guess we're not privy to. We don't know. They didn't announce it last year till what? About 12 days out. With Kyler Murray. They actually said Kyler Murray's the starter.
About 10 days, yeah. About a week and a half.
How long, though, was he getting the majority of the reps? Is Jalen Hurts getting 60, 70% of the reps right now? I mean, that's something we don't know. At what point does he start giving Jalen Hurts the reps?
When he names him the starter.
Okay.
When he makes clear to the team that he's the guy.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Because that's what you're up against. You're up against prepping for Houston come 2 weeks out.
Yeah.
And you want to get that guy the most opportunity to get ready.
And that's what I'm getting at is, look, he might not tell us who the starter is. But at what point in practice does he basically decide?
I'm good at my job. Other folks that cover OU are good at their jobs. We'll know who's getting the majority of the reps if that person's getting the majority of the reps. But I think that it would also be one of those things where you want the team to know before you want anybody else to know, which is why you would just start giving that guy the majority of the reps. And if you have leaders on your team that come up to you and say, hey, man, just give Jalen the job. We're ready to just get behind this guy. And I think that's going to be the key, is if somebody feels compelled to say to Lincoln, stop playing.
When was the last time you were surprised by the outcome of a camp battle at quarterback at OU?
this would be August 2013. Trevor Knight named the starting quarterback of Blake Bell and Kendall Thompson. Now, Kendall Thompson broke his foot during that time.
Yeah.
And put it this way. At the time, I'm writing features about all three of those guys.
Yeah.
And I'm contacting parents, talking to coaches, trying to do this really good profile of each one of them. I was told explicitly to spend the least amount of time on Trevor Knight. And then Josh Heupel says, hey, guys, guess what? We're going to go with T. Knight.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, no! And you got, back and forth. Bell's in for a while, does great against TU, great against Oklahoma State. Then all of a sudden you got Trevor Knight against Kansas State, and it's the zone read with Brendan Clay, and then you get Sugar Bowl Trevor Knight, for which we all acknowledge. But that was the last time I was surprised. So I've never been surprised with Lincoln Riley as the head coach or offensive coordinator in Oklahoma.
That's what I was getting at is a lot of folks in the media really had no inkling that it was going to be Trevor Knight. I thought it was going to be Blake Bell. I think a lot of people did. And they kept that under wraps until the day they announced it. I mean, and again, that was a Bob Stoops run organization.
It's also interesting to note there that I think that they sucked a little bit more because they weren't splitting the reps to a starter. Like they weren't skewing the number. And I think that's a big deal. So you're also I think if they had to do that all over again, they would have named Trevor Knight earlier so that everybody knew why this guy was getting the most reps as opposed to keep playing this musical chairs and charades, which is what mostly Gundy's up against because he's on record as saying, look, we might, if you saw us play today, you'd say take it into 2 games. I'm going, I don't think that's a good idea. But to your point, right, which is, hey, at what point does it start to be a detriment to your team that guy's not getting the reps that he needs to get to be successful, right? Or no?
That's kind of what I was saying is, I mean, you have, when they announce it to the world, hey, this is our starter, and you have this guy's getting reps. Paul Smith, obviously, we worked with Paul Smith for a while. He always jokes that Steve Crackthorpe was saying it's a quarterback battle, but Paul Smith is like, I've been getting the majority of the reps for 2 weeks now. I mean, it was obvious I was going to be the starter, but the coach still kind of played it up, part for, the gamesmanship, and part for the, hey, to keep both guys in it mentally.
And I don't think that works.
I don't think gamesmanship. I don't think they're worried about
No, but I don't think it works, period. It might have worked even 15 years ago, but we know everything all the time, or at least we know a lot of everything all the time. And people are always going to look at OU and what it shows and doesn't show and draw conclusions. We'll look at Instagram video. We'll look at tweets that are really well-crafted and well-informed when we're talking about video to just try to gain some glimpse of what's going on inside of there. And also, more to the point, if you're trying to keep your kids engaged by telling them that you're always going to have an opportunity to lose your job, that's a good way to lose them. Yeah. You don't get somebody on your team or get somebody to go along with you by saying, hey, the nature of this job is we'll pull it from you at any time and it ain't yours even when we tell you it's yours. Mm-hmm. You got to know that you're the guy, and you got to know that you can make those mistakes because that's key to being successful, especially at that position. You're going to screw up. And if you know that you're going to get the hook if you screw up, you're not going to execute very well.
You're going to play tight, and when you play tight, you never make it. I wonder this. What was your percentage of belief last year, I guess, in Kyler Murray wasn't going to be the QB or that Austin Kendall was going to be the QB?
I didn't have
maximum percentage of belief
that he was not going to be the QB.
However you want to word it, that it was going to be Austin Kendall was the starter, not Kyler Murray. What was because again, we were told that there's this battle and both guys are playing so well.
Yeah, and I've said more often than not, actually I've continued to say, you lied to us once. You don't get to lie to us again.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that your line is going to be forever and ever. We're going to have a quarterback battle, a quarterback derby, and this is how I'm going to do it. Cool. But treat me like an adult. And nobody here believes for a second that you weren't going to start Kyler Murray after he didn't sign or he signed a contract that allowed him to play the year, right? Because that was the percentage. When the percentage went up, it was like, oh, number 9 overall, and they're going to try to sign him, and they're going to sign him. And then when the agreement came out
above slot.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the agreement came out that, hey, we're going to let him play a year of football. Going, oh, well, there's your starter because you got to play him now. Yeah. You have to. You don't bring him in there and let him sit for a year to not play. Yeah. And I think Oakland had that kind of conversation too. It's like maybe they don't talk to Lincoln directly, but they're going to Kyler going, hey, if we let this happen, are we going to look bad for having you be a backup quarterback there? I mean, we're for it, but what's going to happen?
Well, now I bet they wish he was the backup quarterback.
Yeah, and I get that joke, but
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, I think they kind of moved on from it just like
Sure,
the rest of us.
sure.
But I will say I had the most fun watching Archie Bradley and Kyler Murray play catch because those are two guys that, they both came to play quarterback at Oklahoma. Archie decided to go play baseball and has become a pretty great pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
But watching those guys just throw, you saw easy gas from both of them, and I'm going, man, oh my God, just let Kyler play. Just please let it happen. I just want to see it. And I think if anybody could do it in this day and age, it would be that kid